Oh, shit. I like Steve Lehto, man. He's my man. And now I gotta throw him under the bus and say he don't know what the hell he's talking about. No. Okay, Steve, if you want to do a joint thing and discuss this and you can throw up all these things that you're saying, I will tell you from a cop, from my opinion, where I think you have it wrong. But I disagree with him. He's implying in this video where cops stand by and watch a drive. Now, I did not see this video till after I did my video, which is why I'm adding this in front of the video because I haven't posted it yet. And then at the end of my video, I will address what he said and what I said. But here's the video I did before I saw Steve Lehto's evaluation. And it's going to seem like I had already seen it, but I didn't. All right, so here's my video before I saw this. Wake up, people. This is, I mean, it's kind of funny because a lot of people may think, so this is a body cam transcript of a man begging officers to help before drowning in a lake. So NBC did this hit piece on the cops, which I'm going to disagree with. Okay, everybody knows I got no problem calling out a damn dirty cop or bad cop or poor decision or coward cops in Uvalde, Texas. But in this case, I got no problem with what the officers did. Rick, they let a man drown and they sat there and watched him. Good. I don't care. This is not a cop issue as far as I'm concerned. And there's some liberal left-wing assistant police chief playing to the public. But, all right, here we go.
Shortly after 5 a.m., police arrive to check on what they describe as a physical disturbance call between Sean Bickings and his wife.
Did you guys get it?
Shortly after 5 a.m.,
all right, let's see
police
this
arrive to
picture.
check on what they describe as a physical disturbance call between Sean.
So a disturbance call of this guy, okay, because he's got a lot of belongings in a box and he's riding around with a skateboard, my guess is this guy's homeless. And his wife's dragging around a cart, supposedly. I think she's homeless. They don't say that. Oh, I don't think you say homeless anymore. I think you got to say a houseless man. He doesn't have a house.
Bickings and his wife.
Did you guys get into a physical confrontation?
No, nothing like that.
No, nothing like that. Of course not. It's never nothing like that. Look, if a cop shows up and the people say there's no physical confrontation, there's no reason for us to be here. I'm out. I mean, I don't understand cops now. They want to hang around till it escalates into something. You show up, you get a disturbance call. She said there's no fight. They were being loud. Hey, we got a call. Says you guys were arguing. Keep it civil. We're out of here. If you say he didn't hit you, there's no crime. There's nothing I can do.
At that point, the officers really don't have a reason to be there. But it would be nice if someone from social services who has a mental health background could have dealt with that.
This guy's a freaking left-wing pink panty administrator and a cop. The worst cop's not marked. Probably never made an arrest, never been in a fight with anybody, never pulled his freaking gun. He probably wrote a bunch of freaking tickets and ran around telling everybody how he was a great cop all these years. This guy don't know shit. It'd be nice if there was a social worker there. Yeah, you know what that means, people? That means more government wasted money, more programs. We got to have social workers now with every cops. Now we'll have a cop showing up with a female cop because she can't work by herself. So we'll have a male cop. So now we have two cops showing up. Now we'll have a social worker showing up. Now the social worker will get hurt and we'll have to sign a new cop just to protect the social worker because it's very dangerous. Next thing you know, you'll be having 6 people respond to every call. Response times go down. Taxes go up. Services go down, and you got idiots like this saying, oh, it would have been so nice. This is a horrible thing. This is horrible. This ain't horrible. These guys have mental health issues. It's not a police issue. Quit trying to act like it is, you freaking pink panty.
Andy Anderson is a former assistant Phoenix police chief who agreed to look at the records that Tempe police have made available. The body.
Okay, so Tempe police is freaking a little tiptoeing pink panty also because they're not releasing the video footage. Once we allow government to start picking and choosing what they release, it's no longer transparent and it's no longer the body cams. The taxpayers are paying for body cams. We ought to have access to the information it collects. It's bullshit now the PD is saying it was too graphic to release it. This smells of cover-up. This makes it look like the cops did something wrong. I don't think they did. I don't really care what they did. There was nothing that says they should have jumped in and saved this guy. If they wanted to, they could have. But there's nothing. They don't even have to act when kids are getting shot. Now you want to say they have to jump in a lake and freaking possibly get drowned when they're not a lifeguard? They aren't trained about life-saving and swimming. We don't know what they're swimming about. What? Are we requiring more training now for cops? They have to be lifeguard certified and they all have to swim really good? I mean, is that what we're coming to? More training. To be a cop, it'll be 14 years of training. People be like, they need more training every time they screw something up.
Body camera video shows after officers spoke with his wife, they went to Bickings.
Oh, he's got a little dog. He looks nice. He's not homeless. Why are we asking, why is the chief saying it'd been nice if there'd have been mental health, but we're seeing nothing that shows that we have mental health issues, other than the fact the dummy swam out when he couldn't swim and drowned?
Making small talk while checking for warrants.
Okay, small talk while checking for warrants. That's standard. Hey, if I contact you, I got to run you. If I don't, and it comes out later that you're a wanted murderer, people will be like, why didn't you run him? You're a dumbass. So people go, why do they run him? They had no reason to run him. You run everybody you contact so it doesn't come out later that you let a freaking child molester or wanted murderer go because you didn't run him.
After 4 minutes, Bickings goes over the railing.
Okay, so they talk to him for 4 minutes and he climbs over the rail. So what? What do you want to do? You want a cop to jump over there and start wrestling with him on the rail so he falls in, breaks his neck, and dies? If a guy climbed a rail in front of me, I'd be like, dude, what are you doing? Why are you climbing a rail? You're not supposed to be over there. You're going to get hurt. Don't be a dumbass. If you keep doing this, I'm going to think you're a danger to yourself or others, and I might have to take you into protective custody under 5150 of the California. This is, I don't know what their crazy code is, but every state has a code they take you into protective custody if they think you're a danger to yourself or others. But I'm not going to risk my life to take you into custody. I mean, I'm not climbing over there to take you into custody.
Well, in the reality, law enforcement did not have authority to detain him.
Well, I mean, they had a disturbance, so they could have detained him for that to investigate. But once he climbs the rail, or once their attention, even if he is detained and he climbs the rail, whatever, I'm going to go for a swim. I'm free to go, right? So
the officers stand there as the man just swims away.
The officers stand there and the man just swims away. What exactly should they be doing? Should they be doing jumping jacks? Should they be saying, Simon says don't go? Should they be saying, please, pretty please, with sugar on it? I'll buy you dinner. I'll get you a hotel room. I'll hug you. What do you want them to do? So the guy goes, how far do you think you're going to be able to swim? I mean, so what? I don't care if the cop says, hey, dumbass, if you go out there, when you come back in and get tired, we're going to arrest you. Whatever. And then he didn't come back and he drowned. So I got no problem with the cops did. Sorry. If you want to call me a jackboot cop lover, whatever. I get called that all the time, and all the cops call me a cop hater. So he swims out there and drowns.
We hear an officer talking about getting a boat, and the video ends.
Now here's where I got a problem. The cops, the police department is pulling this. It's too sensitive. And that's why we're only going to release transcripts. That's bullshit. I think the cops said and did something that the PD doesn't want out, which only makes it more on why all body cams ought to be publicly released. They ought to upload them to a server at the police department, and the citizens can review all body tapes they want. We're paying for it. They're wearing it. Why can't it be public? Because government wants to hide shit, and when they talk transparency, they're just moving their lips, which means they're lying.
It's limited what they turned over, instead providing a partial transcript. That shows Bickings telling officers, I'm going to drown.
So there's no times on when this said, how long this was. This is how you give something totally out of context.
They respond, swim to a pylon. When Bickings says he can't, an officer says, quote, okay, I'm not going in after.
So what? I don't have a problem with that. Rick, he should have jumped in and tried. Look, even as a lifeguard, saving someone is very dangerous, and you better do it right. If you swim straight to a drowning victim, they will drown you. I mean, it's very specific training as a lifeguard. You never approach a drowning or panicked swimmer from the front. You just don't do it. You go underwater and you come up behind them. You can look. You even drag them under. I mean, one of the techniques was you go underneath, grab their freaking legs so you know you're behind them, and you pull their feet underwater, and then they want to get to the top instead of want to grab you, and then you can grab them across the shoulder and come up with them in front of you and prevent them from grabbing you. If you're not trained to do that and you don't practice it and you don't save a few people to where they're trying to grab you, you don't perfect the technique. I got no problem with cops saying I'm not jumping in. Not to mention they're not in a swimsuit. They don't have any flotation device, and they got a uniform on with a gun, heavy boots. It's just ridiculous that they would imply that these cops should have jumped in and saved this guy. I call bullshit. I don't think the cops did anything wrong.
For you.
This is not a lake patrol team that has equipment
That's the only thing I agree with this freaking pink panty idiot.
to handle water rescue. These are street cops.
Bickings and his wife both plead
Yeah, they're street cops. I mean, the only thing they know really how to do is pull their gun and shoot people. I mean, if these cops would have shot him, this guy would have probably been like, well, I mean, that's the training they get, and that's all the tools they had. So, it was probably justified.
for someone to do something. His wife telling an officer, quote, "He's drowning right in front of you, and you won't help."
Well, how did he get out in the water? It's not like, and this is what I would have told the woman. I didn't tell him to get in the water. I didn't make him go in the water. I'm not going in to get him. You're standing right here watching him drown. Why don't you save him? If you want him saved so much, why don't you jump in? And then y'all be calling me a big meanie and, how dare you talk this woman, her husband's drowning, and you told her to jump in. So what? If she wants to save him so freaking bad, jump in. Why are you yelling and blaming the cops for not jumping in?
Eventually, Bickings went underneath the water and never resurfaced.
I think it's heartbreaking.
Bickings' body was pulled from the lake. Now, Scottsdale Police and the Department of Public Safety are investigating the...
Oh my God, Department of Public Safety. Whenever I hear that shit, I just know it's incompetent ticket writers that somehow come to the rescue because they put state police, state whatever. They grab state authority and somehow we're supposed to believe they're smart and competent. Jesus. If you don't believe that shit, watch the Department of Public Safety DPS down in freaking Uvalde, how they screwed that shit up.
The steps officers did and did not take, as the responding officers are on paid leave.
Whatever. I got no freaking problem with what the cops did. Sorry. You can hate me. All right? We'll end that there. Okay, so if you watch my video, this before I saw this, now let's hear what Steve had to say. And again, I've got him turned up to 1.5 speed.
Administrative leave. They're being paid, but they're on leave, and it's non-disciplinary.
That's right. It shouldn't be disciplinary. They didn't do anything wrong. You only get disciplined when you violate policy. There is no policy that requires an officer to risk his life, which is why in the Uvalde case, I'm so pissed off at the coward cops for not going in. Morally, and any man would not stand by and let children get slaughtered, especially if they have a gun, a vest, and 19 officers. Even though they didn't violate policy and they didn't violate law, I still think they're cowards and they should have went in. In this case, I guarantee you, I would not have gone in. I was a lifeguard, like I said in the video, and I wouldn't have went in. But does that mean that Steve thinks I was a bad cop and I shouldn't do it? I don't know.
So this raises at least two questions. And one is, what is a police officer's job? What is their job? What are they supposed to do?
Well, it used to be protect and serve, and cops were even hired with the knowledge that, hey, we need to help people that need help. We may need to risk our life. This is a dangerous profession. It requires us to take risks, which is why they used to, in psychological evaluations, want to hire risk takers. They didn't want to hire pink panty, scared guys that didn't want to take risk. Now that's all changed, and now the actual hiring process weeds out people that take risks because it's too much liability. They're going to get us sued. We want pink panty. We want the ponytail police. We want people that want to wear pink and carry rainbow flags because they're less likely to get us sued. Well, they're also less likely to act in what I call a good man standard, being a good human being act. and they're going to be more cowardly, scared, and not want to take risks. I don't think these cops were cowardly for not saving this drowning man. I don't think I'm a coward. I'll gladly chase a guy, and I've chased many guys with guns, and I've chased them, and I've fought with them. So I don't feel that I would not take a risk. But I'm not jumping in to save some dumbass who jumps in a freaking lake who don't know how to swim and drowns. I'm not jumping in. If you want to jump in, Steve, knock yourself out. If you want to blame cops for not jumping in, that's okay too. I'm not doing it. I think the cops did the right thing.
To do on the job. When they're on the job in uniform or on the clock as law enforcement officers, what is their job?
Their job now is to collect taxes, to harass people, to justify their existence. We keep saying we need more police to keep us safe. We keep saying we need more gun control to keep us safe. We keep coming up with all these reasons on why people can't defend themselves. New laws, use too much force. It's a race issue. It's a hate crime. You can't defend yourself. There's no more protection of a good citizen defending himself. Used to be if a guy was committing a crime on you and you defended yourself, King's X. You couldn't be sued and you can't be charged. You were defending yourself, self-defense, done. It's over. Now, the left and all this bullshit has changed all that, and now cops don't do that. They don't believe that. Now they shoot everybody in the name of officer safety. They're a bunch of freaking cowards. They can't do anything unless there's 50 of them, and they're still crying, we need more money, more training, and more cops.
And I think most people would say that if you saw a man drowning in a lake and 20, 30, 40 yards, whatever it was offshore, that it might be the job of a police officer who's present.
No. If most people say that, well, then most people are dumbasses, or most people are more than welcome to go help. I tell you people this all the time. When you decide to help somebody, realize that this could be the last act you do. You put your life in risk. If you help a woman, and I use this because a lot of guys, we have a lot of Captain Save-A-Hoes out there. A woman is with a guy with tattoos out of prison that beats the shit out of her every week. And suddenly you go over wanting to be Captain Save-A-Ho and protect this woman, and he pulls out a knife, stabs you, and now you are dead. Now, because you wanted to be Captain Save-A-Ho and go out and save her, you're freaking dead, which means your family doesn't have you, you can't support your family, you can't raise your family, your life's over because you wanted to go save somebody and get involved in something you had no idea about. If you think that most people are going to jump in and save a dumbass that climbs in a lake that can't drown and says, I'm leaving, I'm going for a swim, and then everyone should risk their life to save him, well, then you can do that, and you can call me a coward or a meanie or whatever. But I call bullshit, and I think Steve got this one wrong. But that's okay. Maybe he likes to jump in and save dumbasses that like to go out swimming. But Rick, he's not a cop, and he doesn't have a duty. Cops don't have a duty either. The Supreme Court ruled it. And even if the Supreme Court didn't rule it, cops can't be required to risk their life. Okay? Just like firemen, he uses firemen in the example. Firemen aren't required to go into burning building. There's no policy or law that requires them. We hire plenty of firemen. Shit, we hire females that can't even lift a damn fire hose, and they're firemen. There is no law or policy that requires government ever to act and risk their life. If there is, please prove me wrong. Steve, show me where all these other people, he mentions doctors. Doctors aren't government employees. I mean, they probably are. They work with the feds. They get federal protection from being sued. But they're not government employees paid by the government. Firemen are and police are. So show me anywhere where a government employee is required to risk their life to go do something. I don't think you're going to find it, but I could be wrong. Please show me.
Now, some people might disagree with that. That's fine. But the other topic that will come up in all of these discussions is the fact that there's a Supreme Court case in the U.S.
It was actually
where our
two.
Supreme Court has
And I
ruled
put them on
that
my
police officers
list.
have no...
And Steve, if you want to review this document, I'll put a link to it in here. I'd be happy if you could tell me I got any of this wrong, because this is what I used to teach when I was teaching weaponless defense, guns, using a baton, use of force, all this crap. I had to keep up with case law and tell the students why you're acting and why you're allowed to do what you can do and why you can't do. And this is the sheet that I did. And as I'm retired, I've kept it up with new case laws that give police more powers and more information. It's a fairly long document, but here's a little insert of it. Here is a section. I've updated police have no duty to protect. DeShaney, Winnebago, social services was the first case back in '89 where a freaking social worker had 20 documented things to where the kid was being abused by the dad. She never removed it. Dad ended up not killing. He beat the kid so severely that he was in a coma for the rest of his life. Might as well be dead. Now the state's taking care of a vegetable because social services failed to remove the kid. And you know what? The mom sued. The mom reported it to social services. The mom begged them to take the kid out of there because it was in danger. And they let the father do this, and the court ruled no duty to act. The second case was Castle Rock versus Colorado, or Colorado versus Gonzalez. The town of Castle Rock, that's the other case that was recent. There's also a sub case that talks about a sheriff pulled out hostage negotiator, and he did not, in this case, the sheriff used non-trained people. He used county people to go rescue the county clerk, and the county clerk got killed by the hostage taker. And you know what they said? The sheriff just made a bad decision. Sorry, no big deal. Another case, Henderson, Peterson, and the Parkland shooting. Cops do not need to act. So there's plenty of cases out there on cops have no duty to protect, not by law. Now, would a good person and a moral person and what I would call a person of integrity, and you take the job, remember, cops are paid these outrageous $100,000 figures, not for what they do. They're paid that because of the risks they take. We expect them to take risk, and we compensate them with benefits and huge salaries. Since cops no longer are required to take risks, their salaries should reflect that loss. See, government wants to keep raising and saying how important cops are and firemen are. It's the same thing with firemen running into buildings. Please show me the last case where firemen ran into a building. It doesn't happen. It damn sure doesn't happen with the recency that cops run in and fight people with guns. But anyway, and before somebody goes back and tells Steve that I'm being mean, I think Steve can figure it out. Steve has my number. If he wants to reach out and wants to do a joint on this or talk, I'm more than welcome to do it. If he wants to come on my live, that's cool too. I know he's busy, but I think he's a good guy. I think he gets most things right. On this one, I disagree. We're on separate sides. It's easy for people that don't understand police work to say what police should do, should have done. We want them to do what the policy requires. They're getting paid because they aren't disciplined. They did nothing wrong. The only reason they were relieved is because people are pissed off about it and they want to act like government always likes to act like they're doing something. They want to act like they're investigating. They want to act like and give people, the stupid pesky citizens that pay taxes and require more taxes, and then they want to give up their guns because they think police will protect them. It's bullshit. I'm not even sure why we have police. Why do they even need guns? If they're not required to act, why are they armed? Those are topics that I would love to discuss.
No specific duty to save you or protect you or do anything like that. That's not something that you can go after them for. So in other words, if a town has a police department and they do their jobs,
in the case law,
if they fail to do their jobs, well,
because
it's unfortunate, but there's no remedy at law. You
cannot. I get to choose whether I want to help or I don't want to help. Which was my big thing is when they get involved when they don't have to, they aren't even held liable. So they don't even have a duty to do something. But when they do something and you end up getting killed, it's still not their fault. I mean, there is an exception that if they exacerbate in the legal case law, if you read those cases that I looked at, there is an exception for that.
What we're talking about here is the specific duty owed by a police officer to a member of the public. Sue them for that. What we're talking about here is the specific duty owed by a police officer to a member of the public.
That they have a duty and we're owed, but there is no duty. That's like saying, well, the IRS has a duty to only collect taxes that they really bullshit. They collect for what do they do? Well, our political electors have a duty to spend our money responsibly. There's no duty for government. Come on, Steve.
Presumably believes that when the police protect and serve, or whatever the motto is in the side of your town's police cars, that they somehow should do that. If they fail to do that, that's a problem. We got to talk about a case called Castle Rock versus Gonzalez.
You know
I mentioned this case before.
If you want to go watch this whole video,
he grabbed some of the kids. Not his right to them
stand by and watch man drown.
They refused to do anything.
I like your video. Sorry, Steve. So, look, this is, again, I did not see this video till afterwards. If I saw it before, my position does not change. Nothing Steve said changed my mind. If we debate it, he may change my mind. I doubt it. But he could. You never know. All right, we'll end that there.